All right, so we are live. Hello and welcome everyone. We will wait a couple more seconds until everyone has some time to join the stream, and then we will kick right off. We have, like every week, tons of interesting and new releases. That we will have a quick look at.
Hello, everyone. I think no, not yet.
Okay. I can see that we have our first few viewers, so hello and welcome to today's new and AI stream. Um, we have tons of cool things that we can share today. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing is the release of Claude 3. We have seen older versions of Claude, for example, like Claude 1, 2, 2.1, and now they finally released Claude 3, and it comes with some significant improvements. So first of all, we have three model sizes. So we have Haiku, Sonnet, and Opus. Opus is the most capable, but also the most expensive model. Um, right here we can have an immediate look at the benchmarks, and we have a comparison for GPT-4 and for the Gemini 1.0 Pro. Unfortunately, not the 1.5 Pro because the benchmarks for that one also look very good, but it's not here yet. But yeah, in direct comparison to GPT-4, you can see that it outperforms GPT-4 in many of these tasks. And yeah, I'm super happy that we have a very nice comparison here. So zero shot chain of thought also compared to shot chain of thought. We had this in like Google benchmarks where they had different kinds of evaluation methods for these
Yeah,
models.
it was comparing a zero shot with a 32-step chain of thought, I think,
Yeah, exactly.
and benchmarking it at the same. But of course, one had better performance. But yeah, definitely good to see some accurate benchmarks.
Yeah, super cool. And also, so the model is out there, it's public, you can actually test it. And from my experience, it has been very nice. It's a real competitor to GPT-4, which is super interesting and exciting. Um,
Yeah.
Also,
I
during
agree. I
the
agree. Sorry
yeah,
to cut you off, but definitely very, very good to finally see something catch up because we've had great open source models. We have great upcoming models. Mistral was also pretty cool stuff, but nothing that you would say, yeah, GPT-4 level. It's just a pity that we're not there yet in the open source side of it. But definitely great to see some catching up to giants like OpenAI and GPT-4.
yeah. Um, Claude 3 also comes with vision capabilities. And here we have another comparison to GPT-4V. And you can see that it also outperforms it in all tasks, which is also crazy to see. I have not tested out the vision capabilities yet, but yeah, we've seen from Anthropic that they are very kind of enterprise industry focused. So I guess it will be very good, like they're saying here, to just like read PDFs, flow charts, things like this. Super awesome. Then we have the fewer refusals. So basically, where some kind of safety mechanism was triggered previously, but was like triggered for a wrong reason or no reason, they managed to get this fixed. So yeah, now you have fewer refusals, which is very nice to see because this is like the most or one of the most annoying things when working with language models that are trained to be safe when they don't really want to answer basic questions because they think that it might be harmful. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, we've seen that that definitely doesn't stop the very creative community of people we have out there.
yeah, that's true. Um, it will be interesting to see if there will be as many jailbreaks as we've seen with GPT-4. Um, I guess it's likely, but yeah, let's see. Um, we also have this improved long context, which is very nice. Um, so we have a 200K context window, upon launch. So they might be have yeah they have some plans to actually increase this token window, very similar to what we've seen from Google and their newest kind of architecture. So yeah, very cool to see that we are slowly approaching the 1 million context window as default. Super crazy to think about this. Yeah, and especially thinking back in time and see that we had like 4K token windows maybe a year ago or maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, and now
Yeah,
we're at a million, so that's pretty crazy. Um,
definitely. It virtually removes the whole context size barrier in most of use cases. I mean, people
yeah,
like it only like if you really are going to go beyond 1 million tokens, definitely like I guess that's the point where scaling the size of the context window stops being the most efficient implementation. Uh, at that point, you're basically just fitting books into the language model, and kinda there's better ways to do this, or there might be even better ways than what we use currently, which is RAG, right? So yeah,
yeah,
but
exactly.
definitely great to see that cloud also includes this like
Yeah, yeah,
1 million.
for sure. I'm also wondering like what what the potential use cases of a 1 million context window would be. So I can only imagine like fitting entire code bases in there.
Yeah,
Maybe multiple like book series or multiple books. Legal documents could also be one, but I think that might be it. I can only imagine that like for some kind of autonomous agents that you can have like a planning or action retrieval thing that actually fills up the context window where you can see like the last steps and future steps. Yeah, but we will see how this plays out.
yeah, I think you mentioned the most powerful I can think of, which is feeding whole code bases into these, like which like we had these pretty cool applications with like AutoGPT where it built these tiny games, right? But it was one to two files tops because that's all we could handle. But feeding the whole code base and building a proper like agent with a powerful LLM like GPT-4 well put together, not just here write me something. It kind of gives you full sort of junior software developer capabilities, if not more.
Yeah,
So definitely something powerful there. And like you said, maybe for specific use cases, medical field, legal field, and those kind of stuff. And we might be able to build agents that are capable to perform very complex actions, right? Because the whole point of these is that they kind of sometimes forget what they're doing, or they just run out of space and they don't know what the like purpose was. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to think what could you make with such a big context window, because 1 million it's insanely big.
yeah, that's true. Something interesting to note here is that it's a bit more expensive than GPT-4, but I guess we can expect this from a model that is or seems to be better than GPT-4. So that's cool. Yeah, we have the code context window. Yeah, potential use cases are pretty straightforward. Yeah, then we have the same thing for the two smaller models. Yeah, so very cool to see this release. Actually, this is their, I think it's a new kind of playground. It's very similar to OpenAI's, but yeah, it's very easy to use, super cool. I actually hope that you will add some more parameters over here. Also, this max token to sample. But yeah, this looks
Yeah,
like a very
and
good place to start.
going back to what you said about pricing, it's $15 per million token input and 75 output, right? That's what I saw.
Um, yeah, exactly. So input, it's $3 per million tokens and $15 per output million tokens.
That's cheaper than GPT.
It is?
GPT-4 at least. No, yeah, both GPT-4 and GPT-4 Turbo. I have it right here because it kind of made me wonder. And it says per million tokens input in Turbo, which is the cheapest, 10 and output 30. So
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
twice the price in output and a third in input in the case
And
of Claude. So that's great.
what is the price difference from Turbo to just GPT-4 base? written there.
Yeah, you might have lost me, right?
I can still hear you.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay, can you see by any chance the cost difference from GPT-4
Ah,
Turbo
yeah.
and
Then you did lose me because I said that a second ago, but I might have some connection issues for those watching. So yeah, I was saying that for input in GPT-4 Turbo, it's $10 per million tokens. So Claude, it's a third of that, and output it's 30. So half the price for Claude here. So that's definitely good.
okay. Okay, so I actually scrolled to the Sonnet model, which is the middle model, and the bigger model is it's 15 and
Yes.
75. So
Yes, there you go. That's the one I saw, but I saw, I think, 5 and not 15. That's the
okay,
question.
okay,
Oh
okay.
no, yeah, then it's slightly more expensive, like you said. Well, output it's twice the price. So we have someone asking exactly that. So NFT scam. That's the answer for the question. It's cheaper in Sonnet and more expensive in Opus, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. And yeah, if you are actually thinking about using these models and a price is a concern, you can also like check these benchmarks and see if it's worth to maybe use the smaller models for your specific task. It might be worth it.
Yeah, definitely very common case that people overshoot just because it's the best out there. In the case of GPT-4 Turbo, it's kind of the exception because turns out the Turbo is cheaper than the regular. But in the usual case, like yeah, it's definitely worth checking that, and you might not need such a big model to get the performance that you're looking for.
All right, so let's jump over to this tweet right here. So Andrew Karpathy actually created this challenge where we should create a course out of his or from his 2 hour tokenizer video, which was just like a basic video where he explained the what a tokenizer is and how these things are built. And now his challenge is to build like a actual course from that, like a written course. So yeah, he planned some steps here of how this can be done. And so someone actually did this with the new Anthropic Claude 3 model, which is very cool to see. So yeah, they did exactly this. So they used Claude 3 for video summarization. So we have a really basic README here. To produce it, we used a transcript of the video along with screen caps taken every few seconds. We then chunked it into n parts and passed each part through the prompt below, which is this thing right here. No further editing was done. So they kind of have this prompt right here where they set some rules. Yeah, it input like the transcript chunk with the images, and at the end, the assistant should just answer with raw HTML. And now we can check out the results of this process, which is this website right here. So it's not the most beautiful website, but it's definitely very good for just AI generated courses from
It's
a video or transcription. Um,
it's even better than some documentation I've seen out there, and we're talking big,
yeah,
big names. So definitely commendable.
that's true, that's true. But you can see that we have things like titles, we have a small introduction, we have subtitles, then we even have screenshots, which is pretty cool. We have code parts or yeah, code blocks, which is also very cool. You can see that these screenshots are actually showing things that are important. So that's also very nice to see. We basically have all the markdown elements like lists, links, and this just goes on and on. So if you're not a fan of watching a 2 hour video, this is like a great thing to process a video into something actually that is readable. Yeah, if you are a fan of this. So yeah, super cool
Yeah.
to see. Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry. Also, I think it's very good exercise to check out the prompt because as good as an LLM is, prompting still plays super big like factoring in the quality of output you get, and this is a very well structured prompt. So for those who are like a little bit new to this whole prompting uh, engineering part of it, definitely like once you see something like good like this, it's always good to check out this prompt because you can learn a lot from this and implement it in many other things, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it's definitely a very nice prompt here. Um, so yeah, I think he did a very good job solving this challenge. Just super cool to see this. Also, maybe it would be super cool to see this as some kind of service where you can just input a YouTube video and then get something like this out. But yeah, I'm sure they might be something like this already because it's nothing particular new. But yeah, it's interesting. Um, all right, so I also tested around a lot with this new Claude 3 model, and I wanted to use it for something useful. So I kind of wanted to see if it can help me to label different parts on a website. For example, parts that are interactable to actually make these more visible. For example, for a vision model to then interact with these. So I asked the model to highlight interactive elements on a web page and assign numbers to each one of these pop-ups. So yeah, let's copy this code here really quickly, and you can see that I have the console already open, so I will just paste this into my console and hit enter. And you can see that this is very nice. So this was without any modifications to the code. This was just a very basic prompt, and you can see right here that it's very good. Yeah, all interactive elements are highlighted. So a vision model could now theoretically say, okay, to do this, you need to click action element 84 or something like this. Or in order to comment on this GitHub gist, you need to input some text in 114 and then press 128. Of course, it's not that easy. There will always be problems with these websites, but it's pretty cool that Claude was able to generate this code without any problems.
And like you said, it's a very good starting point to build something more complex. Like basically, you're describing a web agent, which is something that we have been waiting for a while,
Yeah,
especially with action models. But definitely good to see that it's like the whole just what we're looking at is already impressive, right? Like you said, it's a fairly simple prompt, of course, well phrased, well structured, but still like super well executed.
yeah. So here we have another example. Works really well. Yeah, super cool to see this. For some reasons, yeah, these numbers disappear, so that's one thing that needs to be fixed. But that's not bad if you take a screenshot or something like that and show it to a vision language model. So yeah, I was very impressed when I put the code into the console and it worked that well. Yeah. All right, let's jump over to this model right here. So it's a new tiny open source model focused on computer vision. So its name is Moon Dream. And if we scroll down here, we can actually see what this is used for. So it's a tiny model that can run anywhere. So they give some examples down here. Um, okay, no, somewhere I saw some examples that you can actually run this like on mobile, on low-end devices, on Raspberry Pis, because it's just 1.6 billion parameters. And here we can see some examples. So you can use it for things like security. So we have this image right here, and the question is anything suspicious, and the answer is yes. So yeah, that's pretty obvious, but still to see this, anything suspicious, describe in detail. And you can see that this detailed description is actually not bad for such a small model. Yeah, I think you can build some very impressive applications with this if you think about all the possibilities. Yeah, of like if you put a camera onto your Raspberry Pi, your phone, just stuff like this.
Yeah. The fact that you can run it in a Raspberry Pi already like makes it very flexible in terms of what can you do with it. Raspberry Pi is very popular for doing this type of gadgets, right? So there's a whole community of people that love doing this. So definitely cool to see. Maybe in a couple months, if somebody came up with something cool. Yeah, so some good ideas might be like built into like a very good startup. Like this reminds me a little bit of, those doorbells that have the camera and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Something like that.
yeah. That's true. Uh, yeah, it's very similar. So yeah, people are happy with this model, and you can actually use this model for commercial purposes because it's licensed under the Apache 2.0 license. So that's always good to see. Here it is. So enables to run on variety of devices, including mobile phones and edge devices. So yeah, that's very impressive. Yeah, just generally pretty interesting that these kinds of models are still released and it's not one giant vision model that dominates everything.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to the fact that like we're not there yet when you can run like these gigantic models in something like as small like a phone. We saw some things like when Google Pixel was running. Well, like I don't remember exactly how it is, but Google Pixel announced they were running their models within their phones to do some of their AI functionalities, right?
Yeah,
But I mean, okay, I wouldn't dare to say we're far from because it's crazy how fast this whole thing moves. But let's say, for the sakes of the argument, we're far from running something big. It's 40 billion, 70 billion in a small portable device.
yeah,
So I guess that's where the need for these type of models comes from, because you can still do a lot. Like the examples we just saw, it's very good. Also, there was Phi, which was also fairly good. Keeping in mind that it's 1.6 billion model parameters. This one, right?
yeah, right.
So yeah, definitely a need, and it's good enough of a technology to be uh, applicable, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we can check out this live demo. I did not look at this yet. Um, let's see. Tiny vision model. Let's see what is here. Let's take this world map that is kind of outdated and ask, what do you see? Submit. It's a gray and white map. This depicted in this image featuring various land masses and water bodies. The background is white. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's
it's
basically right.
exactly what's there. Yes.
Let's get a bit more complicated because as you can see, this map right here is looking, I don't know if it's outdated or just wrong, but
Yeah,
things
very
need to look right.
outdated it might be. But
Yeah.
let's not get political here.
So
Uh,
um,
yeah, I mean, you can ask like what's the like largest country you see in this map or something like that.
I'm afraid that it will just make this up from like internal knowledge. Um,
Maybe, but I guess that's the whole point to see
let's
like
are these countries borders up to date? Let's see. Oh, okay, interesting, interesting.
too much. You're asking too much for the small model.
Did we break it now? Uh, okay,
I mean,
let's.
at least it knows when to say no to something.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, but I mean, it was a fairly accurate description. The previous one, right?
yeah, good
There
enough,
was
I'd say.
no hallucination. Just maybe didn't mention it's a world map, but I would like take that answer as a satisfactory answer. Again, taking in mind it's such a small model.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So I think it also should be able to answer this right here. Okay, no. So it seems like that we have finally broken Hugging Face. Uh,
To be fair, this is an on-demand service, so maybe there's too much people checking it out. Maybe any other factors that we're not considering. Who knows? Yeah, see, there you go.
True circles. Yeah, that's totally fine. So I'm very happy with that answer.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I'm curious to see what the viewers can actually come up with as use cases, or yeah, what this model will be used for in the future.
So yeah, everybody has an idea. Please drop it in the comments.
Yeah, yeah, please. Um, all right, so we have this tweet from Elon Musk saying that XAI will open source the Grok model. Um, Pretty cool to see this shift, or yeah, I guess the motivation incentive to open source models. I'm sure that this is directly directed at OpenAI and their recent clashes, you could say. Um,
You can see the first comment right there.
yeah.
That's
So, yeah,
I mean, I understand the whole. I honestly, like, personally haven't been following the whole back and forth between Musk and AI. Seen a couple things, but it all kind of sounds a little bit like a publicity stunt. Beyond the point that it's been made, but again, what do I know, right?
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, amazing if like the outcome of this would see like we get to see GPT-4 open source, but also like just talking about it, it made me think of the liability of releasing something so powerful, right?
yeah,
Because right now it's pretty well regulated. Like you can't do much that you shouldn't be able to do with GPT-4 because of well, it's closed source, right?
yeah,
You open source it and then you just retrain it again. Like I don't know who has that type of compute, but I'm pretty sure somebody could at some point in time. And
yeah. I
who
mean,
knows?
we're talking about like nation state actors here, so
Yes, yes. So I get that from that point. And again, I didn't think about that until now that I just like said it out loud. That it kind of came to me the idea that that's quite a dangerous thing, right? So yeah, I don't think open sourcing it is the solution here.
yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, it will be fine with the Grok model because it's not super capable.
Yeah,
And it's also not super useful because it has like this weird personality, very different to other open source models or general models that we've seen. Um, but yeah, uh,
but that I guess that's why that's one of the whys all on like this Claude 3 and GPT-4, which are the big players at this point in time, are closed source technologies.
yeah, that's true.
Um, so yeah,
But
I
yeah,
guess
I'm
it's
also
important to
hoping
keep in mind.
to see a lot more from XAI. It looked pretty promising. At some point, I read that they bought tons of GPUs. Not sure what they are used for now, but
And they're hiring if anybody's interested.
they're hiring. So yeah, software engineer, full stack web. Um, all right, so yeah, we will see how this plays out. But yeah, I guess having another open source model cannot hurt. All right, so let's jump over to Hugging Face, where Microsoft has released a new dataset of question answer pairs in the domain of basic math. And yeah, people can just use this open source data set to train their own models that need to be good at math. So yeah, we can have a look at one of these question answer pairs. Uh, yeah, Jungkook is in the fifth place. Find the number of people who cross the finish line faster than him. If he's in the fifth place, then four people crossed the finish line faster than him. Yeah, makes sense. So it's basic math, basic logic, you could say. The interesting thing about this dataset is that it's generated by GPT-4 Turbo, um, and like you said, was probably then used to train the Orca math model.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that whole like post that it's there, the Orca math unlocking the potential of SLMs, which is not something you hear very often. Um, yeah, like I told you a little bit before we started the stream, but I've been talking about that like since people kept shooting for bigger and bigger models. Like, of course, scalability like still has proven to be beneficial in these models. The bigger it is, the better it performs. But I personally, from experience, think that smaller models fine tuned for specific use cases definitely outperform a generalistic model that you just want for like people keep using GPT-4 because it's the best thing, right? But some or most of the times, like people building on this type of stuff have a very specific use case, summarization, like this math right? So this is definitely I particularly happy to see that there's some research going in this direction that actually proves the potential of smaller language models. And yeah, like I was telling you, I couldn't remember earlier, but this Orca was trained with 7 billion Mistral. So
Uh-huh.
7 billion Mistral on this, and it outperformed any, like I have it here. I'll just mention it, like Llama 7, Llama 2 70 billion, and some model called MetaMath 70 billion, which was for math from Meta. I don't haven't heard from it. Gemini Pro 3.5. Of course, it wasn't a crazy outperforming, but we're talking 70 billion. I don't know how many billion 3.5 has, right? So definitely crazy to see you can get that type of performance. And this is from a benchmark, which is a specific like set of math questions and like standardized math questions to test this. So I think that's pretty cool, and there's lots of potential there. And also, it's a super big, like cost-effective solution for like startups working with these type of things, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So yeah, super cool to see this. Yeah, and I mean, 200 pairs is 200k pairs is just it's a lot. So yeah, super cool to see this. Uh, Something that might be interesting is how much this would actually cost to generate. So if you take all the tokens here um, and do the math, like how expensive was this data set to generate? Uh, yeah,
We can do the exercise here if you want. We can assume that yeah, 3/4 of a word is a token, so 75 words it's 100 tokens. Uh, what did was like what this was shipped before normal turbo? You know?
Turbo.
Okay, so that is turbo. That's $30 per million tokens. So and what did I say before? 100. I forgot. 100 tokens, 75 words. Mm, oh well, like this is how many pairs? 200k.
Yeah, 200k.
Let's assume this is all very like. Let's assume each pair it's what, 4 sentences for sakes
Uh,
of the example. A little bit longer. What do you think?
so right here you can see that 84% is between 560 and 1.1k characters, I guess.
Okay, characters. So how many again?
Uh,
Between 559,000. Sorry, I can't see my
yeah,
screen. It's
between
very small.
500 and 1k.
1,000 characters. Or each. Okay, each
Each,
generation. You mean?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, let's say 750 then, and it's 200k, right?
yeah. But it's not each generation, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's each pair.
yeah.
So that is a very big number. I think it's 150 billion token. No, yeah, 150 million. Sorry, tokens. And GPT is $30 per million tokens.
Okay, that's not too bad.
So this is 150 times 30, around 4,500
Okay.
US dollars. Very roughly, if I didn't mess up the math there.
But I mean, like, these are costs that in a startup that is training their own model can now save, right? So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
then also like building data sets like these and this big, that's just super resource intensive, right? In terms of people, in terms of time,
That's true.
effort. So I think I don't know how long. Like you can easily just think how long would it take somebody to write this, and then multiply it even if you want by minimum wage, and it's still you're still winning in this exchange.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's true.
I think it's definitely worth.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's jump over to the last thing. There's just something small. So Mistral um, is basically beta releasing their newest model called LeChat. And it's a multilingual conversational language model. So that is useful for multilingual business slash corporate type of chat slash tasks. So yeah, if you're interested in checking this out, you can actually sign up for this beta user process. But yeah, for now we don't have a lot of information about the model capabilities or benchmarks or anything like this. So yeah, stay tuned for more information about this new Mistral model. All right, and with this, today's stream comes to an end. If you're interested in these types of technologies, check out LabLab AI/event. Um, right now, you can find these 3 hackathons that you can register for. So we have the Advanced Rec Hackathon in cooperation with Vectera and more partners. We have the Gemini Ultra Hackathon coming up, which is also very exciting. And then, of course, the Claude 3 Hackathon. So yeah, make sure to register for that one if you found all these Claude 3 things interesting. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks to everyone who's watching. Yeah, and we will see you next week, same time.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye.